Did you know you could sublimate glass in a Cricut mug press? Well, you can, and it's really easy, and I'm gonna show you how to do it without breaking your mug press. I'm Ashley, and this is Chip Build, so let's jump into it. So the first thing we wanna do before we're gonna sublimate these mugs is we wanna clean them, and so you can either take like a lint roller and get all the dust off like that, or you can take some isopropyl alcohol and just spray it onto a paper towel, and then clean the glass that way. There's really no right way or wrong way to do it, so it's just whatever your personal preference is. Then we can set that off to the side to dry. I always like to do that step first, that way our blanks are completely dry before we go to try to sublimate them. So next what we do need to do is we need to cut our designs down to size. Now for the design for these cups, I am using this Merry and Bright with the light bulb theme. I did make this SVG specifically for a live stream that I did with DIY Alex. I'll put a link up to it if you guys want to check it out. But I wanted to make just a very focused standalone video on it because I want to show how you can sublimate glass in the Cricut mug press without breaking it. I just want to be very careful that I'm not cutting into the design itself. This design isn't perfectly seamless. There is going to be about like a 1/16 inch gap between the two ends of the wrap. And if you want this file, you can get it on my Etsy shop or on Design Bundles. And I have quite a few different options in the bundle that it comes with as well. Alright, this one's ready to go, and then we can wrap our tumbler. In order to make my life a lot easier, I am going to use this cup holder that I sell. You can find it in my Etsy shop. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to place this on top like that. I'm going to take my glass and I'm just going to drop it in there. And then this tool will let me to wrap it around completely and position it the way that I want. I'm trying to really get it into the middle. And then I want to line this up as best as possible. And so this part I would really take my time because this is the part that you don't want to mess up. Alright, so I think that looks really good. So I'm gonna take my heat resistant tape. I'm gonna put it on one side, and then I'm gonna pull and push the tape down. That way it's as tight as possible. And I'm just gonna do that with this other side as well. And we're doing this just to minimize the chance of any ghosting from happening. We don't want any gaps, that way we minimize the ghosting. Alright, that looks pretty good to me. Now we can do one down the center. I definitely prefer more tape than not enough tape. And then we are going to tape along the sides as well. And that's where this cup holder really comes in handy, because I can just twist it and it's not going to roll all over the place. And again, I'm just pulling really tight to make sure there's no gaps and that we're going to get nice pressure. Then we could just flip it over and do the same thing to the bottom. Alright, so this cup is ready to go, and all we have to do is put the butcher paper around it. But before I do that, I am going to plug in my Cricut mug press. That way it can start heating up. So my theory about why when people try to sublimate glass in these Cricut mug presses and it breaks is because that the glass radiates too much heat for the mug press itself. So what I've done is I have taken a piece of silicone mat and I've cut just a little circle out that I can drop down here on top of that metal plate to reduce some of the heat that's going back onto that metal plate, just to make sure not as much heat is going back into the machine. And then we also have this silicone wrap, and then I just put that inside like so. I like to put the silicone into the mug press as it's heating up. That way there's no extreme temperatures between the silicone and the mug press when we go to put it back, because I want to make sure that the glass isn't going to break as well. So then we can take our butcher paper and then we could just tape it on. And I found for this specific butcher paper that I have, I don't need any more than one piece. And then what I'm going to also do is I'm going to just make a mark at the top of this paper and at the bottom. That way I can keep track of what parts of the cup I've already pressed. Alright, so we're good to go. Now we just need to wait for the mug press to heat up. I'll have everything linked down below in the description for what you'll need to do this project. So as that's heating up, we can continue to prepare the next cup. And this one I'm using one of the other variations in the design. This one is the black text with the pastel light bulbs. Alright, so as you can see, our mug press is ready now. And then we can put the mug in for the first press. I'm gonna set a timer for 4 minutes. The reason I say to set your own timer is because since we're doing glass, this timer at the top here is not gonna work properly. The machine does get a little bit hotter than if you're doing a ceramic mug, and so eventually this will stop, but your mug press will still work. Now the cup that we wipe down with the isopropyl alcohol should be plenty dry, and then we can just use this cup holder to just continue to figure out where I want to place this design. So that's looking good to me. Again, we're just gonna have the tape do the work for us. One thing to keep in mind too, if you are doing sublimation, you want to do it in a well ventilated area. Does release some fumes, so just keep that in mind. We want to be as safe as possible when we're crafting. So as you can see up here, the Cricut timer is just about done, but we will be pulling the cup out before that time. Our timer is now done. We can open this up, and then I'm going to turn this around until that mark that I made on that paper is in the back. And then now we can set timer for another 4 minutes. Now typically I do 4 minutes on all sides and it hasn't been an issue for me, but someone in the live stream did ask if you could do it with 2 minutes. So the next one we do, we'll do a test of each side being only 2 minutes. The reason I do 4 minutes on this is because the Cricut heat press does not get as hot as some of the other tumbler presses, and so 4 minutes has just worked for me. So we can finish taping up this cup, and then what I am going to do is I'm just going to reuse the butcher paper from that cup for this cup, I think, because I don't want to have to recut some more butcher paper. So we can apply the tape to the edges. If your design isn't all the way up to the edge like mine is, you don't have to put tape along the top and the bottom. But if you're doing like infusible ink, you would definitely want to tape it up. Okay, so our timer's done. So now we can take the cup out and flip it upside down. So definitely have a heat resistant glove for this, because this cup is going to be like ridiculously hot. And as you can see as well, our timer has stopped counting, but it's still working, and so it's not a big deal. So I am just going to take this out, gently put that in there, get my marks where I need to see them. And then there we go, and then I can set the timer for 4 more minutes. All right, the last timer has gone off, and we can pull our cup out. It's gonna be super hot, so just keep that in mind and be careful. And then we can pull this butcher tape off. And then I am gonna take my weeding tool and just start to pull off this tape. Even with the heat resisting gloves, it's still pretty hot. To me, from the outside, this looks like it's pretty good, but the moment of truth is about to come. All right, what do we think? Comment down below if you think this cup looks good or not. Oh my goodness, it looks so freaking good. This is just some paper residue that will easily wash off. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is amazing. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. Yep, my new favorite cup. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's set this one aside so it can freaking cool down, because it's burning my hand even through the heat resistant glove. And then we can move on to our next one. All right, so for this cup, we are doing 2 minutes. I have my marks, and I'm pretty optimistic about it. All right, our 2 minute timer is up, and so now we can flip our cup around. So while this one is going, this one has cooled down quite a bit. And so we can just come in here and rub off the paper. And then so there's our seam. You can really barely see it. And it's at the back of the cup, but this looks so freaking good. So the Cricut timer has started working again, and it beeped. And if you know about the Cricut, it will keep beeping. So I'm just gonna open it and then reclose it, just that way it thinks I've, taken the cup out. All right, our timer's done. Now we can flip this upside down. I really do hope the 2 minute one works out really well, because that would just save a lot of time. In the past, I have tried doing this where one side was 4 minutes and the rest was all 2. I tried it on this Halloween cup I did, and I did get some ghosting in it, which is why I kind of stopped doing that, but I figured I might as well try it again. These ones are really cool too. These are a snow globe sublimation tumbler. I have a link to this video up in the corner as well. Okay, our timer's done. So we can flip this around like so, and then do our final 2 minutes. All right, the final press is done, and now it's for the moment of truth. I think this is gonna look fine. I don't know if it will look better than the 4 minutes or not, but let's find out. Let's get rid of the butcher paper. And this thing is like on fire. All right, moment of truth. That looks pretty good. So I think the 2 minutes is okay. It looks pretty good actually. It's just not quite as, the black is not quite as dark as the other one. The lights obviously are lighter because they are the pastel lights. I think they're really close. I think on the 4 minute one, the black is just the tiniest bit darker, which I personally like, but the 2 minute cup on all 4 sides, I think works perfectly. And if you want to save time and do the 2 minutes, by all means, you absolutely can. But let me know, which one do you think is better? Do you think the 4 minute one is better, or do you think the 2 minute one is better? I mean, I think they're both really good, actually. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but toot toot. Well, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know down below if you have any questions or comments. I would love to answer them for you. This was day 8 in my 12 days of Christmas DIY, so I hope you liked it, and I hope this has inspired you to try this yourself. So thanks for watching, you guys. See you in the next one. Bye.